What's up guys, Jordan here, bringing you today's review of Operencia, The Stolen Sun. Review was written by Luke and edited by myself. Operencia The Stolen Sun is a classically inspired first-person dungeon-crawling RPG developed by Zen Studios, known mostly for their vast catalogue of comic book, movie, and video game-themed pinball games. Originally released on Xbox and PC last year and was received rather warmly. Will this port, handled by Zen themselves, be a shining addition to the Switch's ever-growing library? Let's find out. Operencia The Stolen Sun takes place in a high fantasy world with inspiration taken from Hungarian folklore and Central European history. Through a visually stunning cutscene, we find out that not so long ago, King Attila, roughly based on Attila the Hun, and his wife Queen Reka had peacefully unified all the regions of Operencia. The two were living in retirement, free from war and famine. However, their peace was short-lived. A demonic force led by the elder dragon Thade had opened a gate large enough for an army to pass through. As king of the region and hero to all, it's up to Attila and his legendary sword to push back the advance, slay the beast, and close the gate. And that's exactly what takes place, whereby we are given control of Attila and Reka to play the beginning of this incredible adventure. We kill the dragon, close the gate, and live in peace. That is, of course, until one day King Attila eventually dies of old age, and with his passing, the unity of Operencia is no more. Without a strong ruler, the underworld conspires once again to rise up and destroy the once peaceful land. After we've created our character, choosing one of three classes, warrior, hunter, or mage, we are shown a dream sequence that our character has of a white stag walking deep into a dark, ominous forest. This dream begins us on our quest, and we wake the next morning intent on following the stag and finding the meaning behind this strange omen. Apparently, like the name suggests, the sun has been stolen, and it's up to you to find out who took it and why. Thus begins an incredible journey. The expansive story leads us to numerous incredible environments and introduces us to genuinely well-written, deep characters, all with their own backgrounds, quests, and unique personalities. By the end of our almost 40-hour playthrough, we were completely invested in the lives and journeys of all the adventurers that joined our party along the way, and we were wholly satisfied with the way things resolved themselves. This is a story for people who love stories. Absolutely fantastic. Operencia is an old-school first-person dungeon crawler with tile-based movement, which at first took a little getting used to. When you're initially dropped into the world, you can only see the grid that you're allowed to move on when looking at your minimap in the lower left corner. You can, however, toggle the grid on in the options menu, which allows you to see the tiles on the ground, which was helpful until we got used to movement. At first, we thought we were getting stuck on things in the environment, being used to first-person RPGs like Skyrim, but it was only because we were trying to move somewhere we weren't meant to. Once we were accustomed, traversal became a breeze. Operencia's combat is turn-based and initiated by walking up to or being walked into by a foe anywhere on the map. If you're able to sneak up to an unwitting baddie, you're given a chance to strike first. However, enemies can also ambush you, so it's a good idea to be aware of your surroundings at all times. We were able to easily tell enough if there was a monster nearby, being able to track their movements through sound even if they were obscured by a wall or lurking around a corner. Depending on which class you choose, you're able to pick two starting abilities or spells which draw from an energy pool. We played as a mage and chose lightning spell and a fire spell as our starting abilities. In the beginning, we found these to be crucial, seeing as spells allow you a 100% hit chance. Unfortunately, not every attack hits its target every time, but when you're choosing an attack, you do get to see the probability of connecting from 0 to 100%. Your main character and all of your party members are given a basic melee and range attack regardless of their class, as well as a defend ability which replenishes a small amount of energy during combat, and defends against attacks of course. Every ability or spell, with the exception of basic melee and range attacks, have a cooldown period, meaning you'll have to wait a set amount of turns before you can use the ability or spell again. Managing your energy pool in the early stages of the game is essential, seeing as the only way to replenish your energy fully, as well as any hit points you may have lost during combat, is by resting at bonfires. This is where you can rest, craft potions and consumables, which you will have to find or purchase recipes for, as well as save your game manually. Crafting at a bonfire also introduces a neat little minigame where you're given clues as to what ingredients are required and left to figure out the solution. Guessing successfully awards you a new potion or consumable with a set amount of uses which are refilled each time you rest. Completing quests and defeating enemies awards you experience points. For each level you gain, you're able to pick up an active or passive ability or spell, of which there are tons of them, and upgrade your character as you see fit. Each character and party member is given 3 points, which you can use to upgrade your strength, intelligence, vigor, wisdom, or agility. We absolutely love the progression mechanics here. They allowed for very specific build diversity. With each level, we could feel our character and fellow party members becoming more and more powerful. Even members you have sidelined gain the same amount of XP, so your party is always pretty evenly leveled. There are plenty of secrets to uncover in Operencia. There are hidden doors and treasure chests to open, as well as a plethora of meaningful loot. We found swords, staves, armor, bows, magical and enchanted variations, which can all be dropped by enemies or found in chests or by completing quests. We had a great time leveling up our party, decking them out in new gear, and exploring each new area. There are a number of environmental puzzles in Operencia that you are required to solve in order to move on the story or open up new areas. This was probably the least enjoyable part of the gameplay. Some puzzles were straightforward enough and actually pretty fun, requiring you to look for items that can be placed on weighted contraptions or using mirrors to reflect light to a specific location. Others seemed a bit convoluted, and we found ourselves walking around aimlessly trying to interact with objects, hoping to stumble onto the solution or find a switch that wasn't easily identifiable. This was only a minor annoyance and didn't really detract from the otherwise enjoyable gameplay.
There's grooves in her forehead.
In terms of audio, the sound design in Operencia was top-notch. The voice acting was always perfectly executed. The delivery by each character was nothing short of excellent, whether it was the narrator giving some backstory, or any of your party members engaging in the almost constant banter with one another, or a boss giving a bit of threatening exposition before a battle. Every single line of dialogue was very well acted and worked perfectly in conjunction with the characters who spoke them. This helped to bring the diverse cast of characters to life and helped us connect with them. The soundtrack was another marvel to behold. Each area had music perfectly suited to their respective environments. There was a sense of dread in tense situations with incredible percussion crescendos. There were pan flutes and other wind instruments conveying wondrous natural vistas. Each area and situation had its own distinct sound and the ability to elicit the appropriate emotion purely through sound alone. With such a wide variety of different environmental ambience and perfectly executed impact sounds, it would be easy to just close your eyes and imagine the environments and situations playing out perfectly without actually seeing a thing, but still know exactly where you are and what's going on around you. This is a difficult feat to accomplish, but Operencia did a wonderful job accomplishing it. In terms of visuals, Zen Studios has taken great care to make this game look as close to other platforms as possible. Although simple in visual design, cutscenes play out beautifully in hand-drawn still frames, with a vast color palette utilizing vibrant greens and blues to amazing effect, along with shining gold and silver hues, bringing together a sensory treat. The way light color interplays with dark color is a perfect accentuation of the two. Each and every frame was absolutely gorgeous. Playing the game, we were worried that the resolution wouldn't be on par with other platforms, but was pleasantly surprised to see how well made this port is visually. The lighting effects are perfectly rendered. There was little to no jagged edges on anything. It appears that Zen Studios are using the same anti-aliasing techniques utilized on more powerful platforms, and we can't say that we're upset about it. Operencia plays at a crisp 30 frames per second at 1080p while docked and 30 frames per second at 720 while in handheld, with zero performance dips during our entire playthrough. This is visually one of the most gorgeous games on the Nintendo Switch to date, with hardly any noticeable difference from other platforms that it's offered on. In terms of value, Operencia, The Stolen Sun can be purchased on the eShop for $29.99 in the US, $29.99 in euros, and £26.99 in the UK. If you were to play straight through the campaign without taking any of the side quests or exploration, it would probably take you about 25 to 30 hours to complete. It would take a completionist more than 40 hours to finish this beefy RPG with all of its secrets and hidden areas. Not to mention that an extra difficulty mode has been introduced exclusively for the Switch release, where all monsters' damage, aggressiveness, and health is increased by 20%. Players fond of a challenge are surely going to have their work cut out for them. There is a great deal of replayability too. Trying out different classes and builds could keep players busy for quite some time. In conclusion, Operencia The Stolen Sun for the Nintendo Switch is a perfect example of a properly ported game. The full game, in all of its visual glory, is well worth the asking price, offering an expansive narrative with a 25-plus hour story that had us enthralled right down to the final battle. Addictive gameplay, incredible character progression, a bevy of spells and abilities, and loot galore. This is definitely a game we can highly recommend. We give it a 9 out of 10. Alright guys, thanks very much to Luke for playing and reviewing this one for us. We really appreciate it. Be sure to check out yesterday's review of RFL, and why not watch a physicals video. In Monday's episode, we told you how you can win a physical Switch game. Be sure to check out that out because anybody can win it. We'll see you guys over there. Take care.